Hey guys, good morning and God bless. I hope you liked the last video about the bay tree. That just really, I couldn't believe it. Really solidified where we're going. Thought it was really neat. But anyway, so this is the next video. Just a quick review. Yesterday we talked about the bay tree. Psalms 37:35 describes the wickedness and great power, the great power being Satan, likened to a bay tree. We learned that tree in that passage, the concordance refers to this as a native born, which of course the angels were created before mankind, and also native to heaven. They were there. We were in paradise. Uh, Fruit has similarities of our body. Has skin, has the flesh, and also has the heart, which is the core. The Lord said, "Let me remove your heart of stone and replace it with a heart of flesh." And we saw that reflected in the bay tree. The bay tree has a fruit called the drupe, which having a stone which can be easily removed from the flesh. Um, so just thought that was really neat. But I did a little continuation with the bay tree a little bit and just found this pretty interesting too. Bay leaves were used in ancient Greece as a symbol of the highest status. They were given as a prize at the games in honor of Apollo. So just something else that takes us back to Apollyon, the fifth angel, fifth age, um, which I believe is Satan, the fallen star right here, Apollo. Anyway, we're going to continue on, and we're going to get into the conversation that Eve had with Satan and what she saw with the eyes and what she desired, and we'll get into the words there. After that, we're going to kind of go a little bit with Cain. There's a lot of interesting stuff surrounding Cain. He was marked. He was banished. Um, if you read some of the other books, Jasher Jubilees, he started a city. He's well, you'll see when we get there. Just a lot of neat things that go with Cain that the Bible and extra biblical texts talk about. So we're gonna go from that to that. So all right, guys, thanks. Okay, so we have the serpent was more subtle than any beast in the field which the Lord God had made, and he said to the woman, God hath said, ye shall not eat of every tree of the garden. And the woman said unto the serpent, we may eat of the trees in the garden, but of the fruit of the tree which is in the midst. God hath said, you shall not eat of it, neither shall you touch it. Okay, we're going to look at this word touch right here, lest you die. So, once again, disobedience goes to sin, sin equals death. Let's look at this word touch real quick. All right, the quick reference on my computer says touch is naga. Primitive word to touch, to lay hand upon, to lie with a woman, right here. By implication, to reach, to bring down, to violently strike. But that's sorry, I had a phone call. Anyway, lie with a woman. Okay, so let's look at this word further and see what else it shows us. Same thing in the Blue Letter Bible. Okay, it's H5060 naga verb. And you can look at all these here real quick. Strike, to touch, to reach, and it also says to lie with a woman as another definition. So if you do a search on naga, what you get here is kind of interesting. A group of serpent deities in Hindu and Buddhist mythology. Mythical creatures. So another tie back to using the Hebrew words for what Satan is using them, for his benefit, I guess. So anyway, I thought that was kind of interesting when you Google that word touch. With a little bit of emphasis here, also you get word or deity or class of entity being taken in the form of a very great snake, specifically the king cobra found in India. Okay, so anyway, so just something else I wanted to show you, that it's another tie back, to the garden using these words for the benefit of Satan, but it also shows us exactly what he's doing. But anyway, found that interesting for the word touch. Your eyes shall be opened, you shall be as gods, knowing both good and evil. When the woman saw that the tree was good for food and that it was pleasant to the eyes, we're going to get into this word pleasant and desired. Okay, pleasant to the eyes and desired to make one wise. She took the fruit thereof and did eat, and also gave to her husband with her, and he did eat. All right, so let's look at the word. We'll start with pleasant. Okay, so we have this pleasant right here, and pleasant is H8378, and it's the word ta'ava, and it basically states right here: a delight, subjectively satisfaction, objectively a charm, dainty desire, exceedingly, greedily, lusting. So once again, we'll go back to these words here from 183: to greatly desire, to be serious, long, lust after. Okay, so let's go back. I'm gonna pull up the other one in the other window here. So here's the Blue Letter Bible. I copied it as a PDF, so looks a little different. Desire, wishes, longing for one's heart, to lust, appetite, covetousness in a bad sense, desired, object of desire, lust or lusting. Okay, let's look at 183. Okay, this is 183, ava, and it's to long for, to lust after, of bodily appetites, to desire, to crave, greedily prefer, want, wait longingly. Again, so it just confirms where these words are coming from, what they really mean. Now it gets kind of interesting when you go back to when it says see also this word here, 69:14. All right, 69:14 goes back to which is kind of weird. Graves of the longing, a place, this place in the desert right here, and we're going to get into this. This goes back to basically the Ten Commandments: "Thou shalt not covet." All right, because it leads to death. That's what God's trying to say. These desires led to death. Burying place, grave, or speculature, 69:1-2. In any wise to bury. Okay, and that's all from that word. Pleasant. Speculature, burying place. Okay, so let's check out something real quick. Okay, so we have the graves of the longing, and this is the place in the desert during the Exodus. Okay, so let's take a look at that. I pulled it up on Wikipedia. It's in Numbers right here, 11. Let me see here. I think it's Numbers 11:34, something like that. But anyway, I'll pull the verse up here after I'm done reading this. So this is a place where one of the locations where the Israelites are passing through their Exodus journey, recording the book of Numbers. Like I said, I'll get you the verse in a second. It was at this place, according to the Bible narrative, that the Israelites loudly complained about the constantly eating only manna, which of course was the bread that that God provided for them, and that they had a much more varied diet of fish, fruits, vegetables, meat when they were living in Egypt, which is the world. Living in the world, they had all these desires. They had all these things that they wanted. And if you read I think it's in Deuteronomy or it's somewhere, I can't remember, but they talked about the garlic and the cucumbers and all the things they had that were of the world. And God had to essentially wean them off of the world, which is of course Egypt, and so that they would live basically for Him providing their needs only. In the world, in Egypt, yeah, they were enslaved, and yeah, they were being driven to work for the Egyptians. However, they had also the lusts of the world, and that's what this is kind of talking about. So God says, "I'm going to give them so much meat that they're going to vomit," and He gives them a large number of quails, and we know the story. But this I thought was an interesting passage right here. The biblical narrative argues that the name Kibroth Hatava, which appears to mean graves of lust, derives from these events. Since the plague killed people who lusted after meat and who were then buried there. So, once again, it all connects back to that lust. You see with your eyes, and then you lust, and you lust. She lusted after that tree, that native. Okay, let's continue on. And right here, it was in Numbers 11:34, 11:35, and there's some other references for it there. Okay, let's move on to desired. Okay, so now we're at desired. And it's chamad, a primitive root word to delight in, beauty. We know that Satan, of course, had great beauty, greatly beloved, covet, detectable, delectable thing, desire, godly lust, again, lust, pleasant, precious thing. Just to go to Song of Songs, we see the same thing in 2:3. As the apple among the trees of the wood, so is my beloved among the sons. I sat down under his shadow with great delight, and his fruit was sweet to my taste. And then I think the other references, so there's a bunch you can look at, but you know, God will give us our heart's desire, and things of that nature. So anyway, I just wanted to hit on that today, and we're going to get into the actions after the sin, which it'll pick up a lot, especially with the ground being cursed, Cain's sacrifice, why it was undesired by God, um, and also what happens after the lineages of Cain. What do we see? So anyway, God bless you. Hope you enjoyed.